This video is sponsored by you. Links to support the channel are in the description, along with the Discord server. Hello there, Arknights' most hated YouTuber here, once again injecting 10 liters of liquid gummy hentai straight into my circulatory system. A sentiment I see a lot of in the Gacha games community is that of buffs and nerfs. Mainly buffs. The community will see a poor soul stranded in the F tier and ask the corporation overlords for a balance patch fixing them. And it's not weird considering how prevalent balance patches are in other games. However, these pleas are almost never answered. My goal with this video is to answer one simple question. Why? Why do gacha games almost always refuse to do balance patches? Why must some characters rot in the lower tiers forever? And within the live service sphere, why is this seemingly unique to gacha games? Well, what if I told you it's for your own benefit? Yes, really. For once, the greedy corporations are doing something to benefit you. It sounds counterintuitive, but let me cook for a moment. I am certain you'll be convinced by the end of the video. Let's start with the most commonly talked about units, the bad ones, the F tier, the trash, your Arlans and Vigils, and any dark-skinned character in a Hoyoverse game. You know, I don't blame people for seeing a pattern by now. Optics aren't looking too good right now. The main principle to discuss is that gachas aren't like other games. You don't just get characters. With a gacha system, every character has an investment of premium currency attached to them. How much you end up spending will vary depending on your skill while rolling, but the important part is that they aren't just given to you in the majority of cases. Let's take Dehya and assume you're a Genshin Impact player. Picture the following. Her banner runs, and since she's ass, you decide to instead save up your hard-earned 5 Primogems for someone else. Now, let's say a month later, after her limited banner has already come and gone, they decide to buff her and make her actually viable. Wouldn't you look at that, you just got scammed. Now that this unit is good, you have no way to obtain her and have to wait for the rerun whenever the drunk developers at Hoyoverse rolling dice decide so. Doesn't that suck? CN players are already on par with France when it comes to riots. Imagine if the corpos did this too. This is especially bad in games like Hoyo's, where almost every character is limited, so you can't even cope to get spooked later on like in other games like Arknights. Of course, this is all assuming you actually care about the meta and the unit being good, which the vast majority of players do. Do you remember when I said characters in gacha games are investments? Come on, it was like 2 minutes ago, keep up. Well, now that balance patches have entered the Thunderdome, you cannot properly gauge if an investment is worth it or not. Buffing sets a terrible precedent, where now, if you care about the meta, you have to roll for everyone because there's a real chance they might become good in the future. Imagine the stress of rolling for a unit, not knowing how good or bad they actually are, because a balance patch might change it in the future. And about that, let's discuss the other side of the coin, nerfing. This one is fortunately much more self-explanatory. Let's take Firefly and assume you're a Star Rail player. You roll for her, she's bonkers, and you enjoy your canonical Trailblazer girlfriend to her fullest. Now, a month later, she gets nerfed. Wouldn't you look at that, you got scammed again. Balance patches create a really weird environment for gachas. Every character is an investment, but now you have no way to properly assess how worth that investment is, as the characters are now fluid, malleable and vulnerable to change over time, for better or worse. It's certainly not pleasant to have a unit you spent so many resources on suddenly become worse. And it's equally not pleasant to miss out on a good unit, because when their banner ran, they weren't good. And this is all assuming that the corpos apply balance patches without malicious intent. A perfect example of what I'm talking about just happened recently in Genshin Impact. Please divert your attention to this. Pretty cool, isn't it? But it's not exactly intended behavior. Yet it remained in the game for 7 updates. However, coincidentally I'm sure, right when new Hydro characters were about to release, this got suddenly fixed. Essentially, they nerfed him hiding behind the excuse of fixing unintended behavior. The timing makes the real intention obvious, and it made the people revolt, so the change was rolled back within 24 hours. But now you see what I mean when I say balance patches are disastrous for the health of a gacha game. If you use them properly without malicious intent, you kinda get scammed, but the corpos can and will use them to f you over on purpose. So how do games improve the performance of bad units? Let's look at Star Rail, because I don't play Genshin and you can't make me. In particular, let's zoom in on Herta and Himeko. Easily some of the worst units in the game, having a comfortable spot in the bottom tiers. But then, Pure Fiction came out, a new endgame mode. Wouldn't you look at that? Now they're top tier. How Star Rail does it is by adding new permanent game modes in which different things are valued, making previously unviable characters into invaluable ones. Pure Fiction rewards what Herta and Himeko excel at. And that's all I wanted to say. Max out your Gummy and your Huohuo. But not the Eidolons, don't worry, I know you're poor. Bye. Hello there, welcome to the outro, the place where we do the outro. Thank you for watching, and thank you to the channel members and Patreons on screen now. In particular, Come to Brazil, Mike Reguera, Zephyrinix, The Crazy Lord, New Takoyaki, Nubbo, Lord Takeo, Good Old Leon, Maxio Says, and Chromchan but JJF. Anyway, unrelated, I just randomly and suddenly feel like praising Vigna Arknights. Have you guys heard about Vigna Arknights? She's so cool and an amazing waifu too. No, I am not being held at gunpoint. She's really that cool. I love her summer skin. I want to lick her tummy and her feet. With that said, I am going away now. Make sure to max out your Vigna.